Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella. A unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing. Cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott. Cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid. Providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years. Hey out there, it's Quilty, and I'm here with Vanessa Vargas Wilson from the Crafty Gemini. Vanessa, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Mary. Always fun to be here with you.
It's fun to be here, and you're a pro. I mean, if there ever was a pro. And I'm in your hands. I'm in your capable hands.
Please.
I am. We're going to talk about a quilt that's in Quilty. Hold your horsies and look for the pattern in your copy of Quilty for all the measurements and things you're going to need for this block. But let's go through this little block.
It's a really simple one. There are a couple different measurements, but I like one thing about it is it uses small pieces, so it's a great scrap buster. And you would think right off the bat, if we're trying to make a little block like this that has a horsey in it, you obviously, one thing you want to keep in mind for your fabric choices is the high contrast.
Totally.
So, I mean, ideally, probably if you're kind of not too sure about colors and fabrics, you would go with solids, right? You maybe give the horse a brown or black color.
And that in the magazine, we use shot cotton, so it's very high contrast with a white background, I think. So yeah.
Cool. And then you'll have a lighter, whatever your background is. But I kind of like to play around with some fun fabrics, especially if you have stuffed scraps and things. And so I did them up here in some fun prints. Even though they have big prints on them, big designs, this one had really large roses and stuff, you can cut around it to make it your background fabric, right? So you have that high contrast from the horsey fabric to the background.
And this one's high contrast too, right? You went from blue to...
So you have the contrast, but then you also have this little aqua color that ties into both fabrics, so that's another way to tie it in.
It has a friend. And the lower contrast block, I mean, that is a little bit lower contrast, and there's something to look out for here.
With large prints, and you'll especially see these in florals. This one, you can start to see a little peak here of a really large rose. And so we were talking about this, right? If we put it like right here, it's not going to look that good, because we want it to be a stark difference from one fabric to the other.
Your horse would have like a growth. it would, if you had the flower right
coming out the top. So what I did was kind of just play around with your measurements and just fussy cut around those larger prints, the larger designs in the fabric.
Or just use a smaller print and you don't have to worry about it. So we're going to make this little version.
I
so
love
what
it,
I
don't
know,
you?
it's really
It's
great.
super cute.
Hot pink and the little bees. Bees on the farm with the horses. So what comes first?
So here I have all the units that we need. These are our background pieces. And then you can see we have similar pieces that we need for the contrast, which is the horsey part of it, okay? So real simple, 2.5 inch square pieces, strips. It's just straight cutting. There's nothing crazy, no fancy measurements, okay? So I think we're gonna start off with the head unit first, Mary.
Great,
Let's show it here just so they see. So this is the little head unit, and we start off with just a square and 2 of the smaller squares. We're gonna lay one on top, and you just want to match the outside edges, and that way you know it's going to be right where it needs to be, okay? Don't worry about it being right in half, because the measurements are going to look a little off, but just stay with the raw edges flush on both sides. I'm gonna, this one is already stitched, but from corner to corner, and you want to make sure you're starting in that center, because it's easy to switch it up and have the diagonal where it's not supposed to be.
Then you got to rip it out, because it's really wrong.
That's right. You know, because you want to get that peak at the top of the head, right? So we did this one to here, and it's important to note that you have to do these one at a time. We always try to save time as quilters. You're not going to be able to just whip this one to the machine and stitch both together.
You get like a buckle at the top, which you don't want.
We need this overlap here. So the next one goes the pretty side down, and actually, Mary, this line here on the diagonal, you went ahead and drew it already. And that's something that I actually didn't do before, but I would recommend it, especially if you're a beginner, because this is going to help us.
You think you can sew a straight line from one corner to the other, but it's really hard. I mean, the accomplished quilters don't do it either. And another thing too, this is called the flippy corner method, technically. And if you, just a little tip, if you sew just slightly to the outside edge, just a thread's width to the outside edge, you really get a crisp when you fold it over. It's just, so that's kind of a nuanced thing. Don't worry about it too much, but you'll make happier patchwork a little bit later. So then you put that one down. We have the line there,
and this is the correct way to orient it. You want to go again from the center to out. It's going to be really easy for you to do it like this, and you're going to be devastated because it's not going to work, right? You need to pull it out. So Mary, if you don't mind, go ahead. If you need a pin, put a pin, and then stitch from that center point to the outside one here.
Awesome. Now, Vanessa, I've got my patchwork foot on, which is okay, but like, I don't know. Sometimes the patchwork foot, if you're doing like sewing through the center of these things,
exactly.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
because it's not laying completely flat on the pieces.
Right,
so it's easier to move it out of place. So, yeah.
But like if I leave it on, like I might not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You know, sometimes I have a sewing machine set up with a walking foot on it, and I will just use that pretty much for everything.
Right.
It just helps keep the fabrics together, and I use it for all kind of stuff, whether it's quilting or apparel stuff. You can use it on all kinds of fabric.
Right.
All right, so then let's trim this down.
Right.
We should have trimmed the other one first, but remember, you're just going to trim it down after you stitch it, 1/4 of an inch away, and you can do it just with a pair of scissors too if you have them, because the piece is so small.
Right.
And then you're going to go ahead and press it. And so I'll just show briefly here.
Yeah, great.
We always want to set our stitches in place first, and then just flip it back and press. Okay?
And I do use a little spray starch from time to time in my sewing, but not till I have a few more units made. You know, like I kind of do it as I got more done.
You're right. And actually, let's start putting this together. I'll show you here. This is going to be the leg part. So if we grab one there that has the head on it already.
Yep. There you go.
So that head unit goes attached to whatever your background piece is.
Come down just a little bit. Yep, great.
Sure. And then our body piece is this solid one that goes stitched down to the legs. And so we have that here. Here's the body piece, and these are the legs. It's just, they're 3 little squares, and you're stitching, and it's easy to get these mixed up because you're gonna have 3 of each of these colors. Just go with whatever the body is. Remember, those are the legs.
Another
so that has to be the outside one.
Another reason to do high contrast.
That's right.
Because you'll see your horse, you'll see the legs, rather than like, what am I doing?
He's missing legs. He
exactly.
has like 1.
Exactly. He has
All right.
a leg.
So we have that, and then we have our tail, which is just a rectangle with a square, and then you do the same thing we did here. Diagonal here, stitch, and fold that edge back.
And these
this way.
And then you have just a little bit of sky left.
That's right.
So here, that's our tail.
the little tail.
Here's
and then
our little legs.
A blank one of just background.
Right.
And now when we start to put it together, it might look like it doesn't match up. So it's important for this block especially to do it in order. So we did the head to the background, that's 1. Then we did the legs to the body, that's another. Okay? And what would you do next, Mom?
I would do the tail because I like it.
Yeah.
I just like it. I like that little tail.
So we'd stitch this here, and then we just combine this unit to this unit.
And it's a good patchwork lesson because, you know, if you don't know, this is why I watch Quilty. This is why you get teachers because, you know, if you've never done this before, you might join this to this, and then you have to set that in. I mean, it's bad. So go with your pattern, join in rows, and you can put a horsey block together just like this.
That's right. It's real simple. Just straight piecing.
One last look at our little guy. He's so sweet.
Super cute.
Cool. Vanessa, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Mary. I had fun.
We'll see you. Visit the website and her website. Bye.
Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella, a unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing, cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott, cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid, providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years.